fix your credit, pay to get your credit fixed, because it's going to open up doors for you. And quite frankly, like I said, go in the EIN only method. It takes about 6 to 9 months to build your business credit. We have people now who come in to our program with a 680 credit score. They're getting three vehicles in their first 30 days, right?
Wow.
They're getting three vehicles in their first 30 days, just leveraging the information. Once you know how to do this, it's very, very easy.
All right, hey guys. Today you're excited. This is going to be exciting. So people have been asking me for this, and we're going to talk about the car rental business. So some of y'all, have heard of Turo, but Turo is just one platform, right? So we're going to talk about building a business, and I have Mr. George Waters on the show, and we're going to talk about. So let me tell you a little about George, because he's a former Wall Street financial advisor who built multiple streams of income while in corporate America, right? So what does Jim Rohn says? Wages make you a living, profits make you a fortune. Okay, or earn your living by day, work on your fortunes at night on the weekend. And this is what he did, right? And so while in corporate America, he invested in real estate, renting out vehicles on apps like Turo. Just this year at age 28, okay, the young age of age 28, George left corporate America and behind after scaling his business to the point where it outperformed his job, right? You ain't gotta leave your job, right? You can build something and have it match your job and make it easy, right? A easy decision, right? And so now he continues to grow his business while teaching hundreds of others around the country how to do what he did, how to leverage business credit and own their own car rental business. So and how to purchase their first or next rental property via strategy called house hacking without having thousands of startup capital. So we may not get into that part today. Maybe we will. You will see how much time we have, because this is stuff we're gonna go all over. We'll have him back. And so George, thank you for joining us. Welcome to the Practical Wealth Show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited. I'm excited to share this game with this income stream that has literally changed everything for me. So thank you for having me.
Yes. Yeah. So tell us, tell me a little bit about your background, what you were doing, and then how you kind of got started.
Yeah, absolutely. So former financial advisor, I was doing that for the 5 years after college. And while I was a financial advisor, my goal was always to create a high income job and then leverage the money that I was making to invest it into businesses. I come from a real estate family, so that was my ultimate goal. But in that process of learning more about real estate and just being more financially literate, one of the things that I was doing was I was listening to a lot of podcasts, right? Driving to and from work, I was listening to podcasts every single day. And one day I stumbled across a podcast of somebody talking about an app called Turo and how they were actually making money on Turo. And it was perfect timing because literally probably about 2 weeks before that, I was out of town and somebody referred me to Turo to get a rental car. The experience was amazing. It was super easy. It was cheaper than, going to like a Hertz or an Enterprise. And I was
Was
like,
it?
man,
Okay.
people could probably make some money doing this. I had that thought in my head as I was doing it, but I never planned to take action on it. And then I heard this podcast of somebody that actually was making a lot of money doing this. And then that was the sign for me. I'm like, listen, this is a low barrier to entry business, high cash flow, which is literally exactly what I'm looking for to be able to pour some gas on my real estate investing. So after that, I actually invested. I booked consultations with people who were doing the business. And then from there, I started just to scale my own fleet here in Philly.
How long had you been doing it from the time you started doing it and before you decided to go full time?
Yeah, so I started right before the pandemic.
Mm.
So now we're going a little bit over 2 years.
Mhm.
It'll be over a little bit over 2 years shortly. So Was doing it for a while. The pandemic actually was what really allowed me to scale it. That was what really allowed me to scale it because my job, we went home, right? Everybody
Hmm.
started working from home, and I'm like, oh man, I'm not at the office anymore. Um, it's now or never. I'm like,
Right.
it's if I'm
Right.
really
And you still
gonna
have money
go,
coming in. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
Right. Right.
I'm
Right.
like, it is now or never for me to go all in on this thing. I'm home, I'm available. I can I can do this. So during the pandemic, as soon as we went home, that was when I started to really scale my fleet. Before that, I had two vehicles.
Hmm.
The pandemic started, right? I had two vehicles, probably about 5 months later, I was up to nine vehicles.
Wow.
So I scaled very, very quickly by leveraging business credit. That was how I was able to scale it quickly. And now, blessed to be in a position where that business is still growing, still
Hmm.
scaling. And then yeah, like I said, been in for a little bit over 2 years now.
See, and he's teaching it, but what I like about George is doing it. So his primary business is still renting out cars. So you want to learn from somebody that's in the game, right? Because they can adjust, the rules change. And so that I was looking for somebody good like that to bring y'all. Let's start with the one car, two cars. Like, were they new cars? Was a car you already had? I'm thinking of all the questions I had. So this is like free
Yeah,
consulting for me, right? No, I was
yeah,
kidding.
yeah. So no, I never started with a vehicle that I was using for personal use. So I
Okay.
actually just started with Nissan Sentras. That was my first two vehicles, was two Nissan Sentras. And at the time, I didn't know about corporate finance and I didn't know about commercial financing. So I actually bought those cars with a partner, and we bought them cash.
Hmm.
We bought them straight cash, and then that was how we started the business. I never had the intentions, and I was driving a little hoopty at the
Hmm.
time. I keep my expenses very low. So
Hmm. Hmm.
my car, nobody wanted to rent that thing anyway. So I went the route of going the economy route,
Hmm.
right? This is one of the things that I tell everybody to do is online. People have all these nice brand new cars, things like that, exotic cars, foreign cars, sports cars, everything like that. I want economy cars. And I went that way because when I'm out on the road every single day,
Yeah.
I don't see a bunch of Lambos. I don't see a bunch of Benzes. I don't see a bunch of BMWs.
That's what people
However,
think they got to get. Like, oh, I got this, and I got $100,000 Tesla, and I got
yep,
all this stuff. But you could do that, but you don't have to start there.
you don't. And quite honestly, to build a solid foundation in this business,
Hmm.
right? Especially being where I'm at in Philadelphia, where there's 4 months of the summer when people are outside trying to shine and flex and look all fancy and everything,
Right.
right? The
Right.
rest of the time it's snowy, it's rainy, it's cold. People aren't booking those types of vehicles. So to build a solid foundation that gives you annual like cash flow all year round,
Hmm.
people are not looking for a fancy car. They're looking for a car that's going to get them from point A to point B. So that's where I focus my business, because I wasn't really interested in, the lifestyle increase of owning a nice foreign exotic vehicle. I'm
Hmm.
interested in making cash flow to be able to grow my business. That was my main goal. And that was why I went the economy route, and why I still to this day continue to scale my business leveraging economy vehicles. Because look, if y'all go outside and you look around, right? What are you going to see more of? Are you going to see more $100,000 BMWs? Or are you going to see more Hondas? You're going to see more Nissans. You're going to see a lot more of those everyday economic vehicles. So for me, I follow the numbers. It's a
Right.
no-brainer
Right.
when it comes to what
I,
vehicle
I
is going to
love
be the
that because
most
you can
common.
get what could you get and so here's another question: pre-owned or new, and
Mhm.
then picking them because I see what I like about one thing you said earlier is low barrier of entry, right? And it's simple because see what I always talk to people about. See, to me, there's four asset classes, right? Business, real estate, paper, and commodities, right? And
Yep.
so most of the time, your fastest path to cash is a business,
Yeah.
in my opinion, right? And so if you can get into it with not a lot of you don't have to be an expert in this or be an engineer or you want to start an architect, you can get a car and people need to rent it out. That's what I love about this. This is why I'm like, because I want people to make new money. I want y'all to make new money next year.
Yep.
Okay. and grow your passive income to, well, I don't know if it's passive, but at least, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5 grand. I mean, most bankruptcies could have been prevented with extra $400 a month.
No.
You know what I mean? So you can get into this game. So I want y'all to hear him and believe that. And so I like the economy. So the question was, where do these run? Like, what should they be? So I'm trying to think of all the questions that I have that you have. What type of cars? She answered one. Start
Yep.
with economy cars.
Yep.
And then what are the
And
ranges?
pre-owned.
Pre-owned.
Pre-owned. So I always go pre-owned. Let that car depreciate a little bit, right? There's no need to buy a brand new. There's no need to buy a brand new vehicle just to rent it out to people who are, not going to treat it as if it's their own. It's a rental car at the end of the day, right? So I'm at least getting a vehicle that's at least 2 years old. Like
2 years old. Okay. Really good point.
That's the threshold for me. If it's more than 2, then if it's like newer than 2 years, I don't want it unless I'm going that luxury route, right? I have one Tesla in my fleet, but that's also my everyday driver, right? So I bought that car brand new, but that was after I had a bunch of economy cars, right? Very key point. Very key point there.
Right.
But for when I was first starting out, and we're in a very different environment, it's starting to kind of balance out now. But when I was first starting out, those Nissan Sentras that I got, they cost me probably about $11,000 all in. So that's with the warranty, with everything, about
2 of them or each.
Each.
Okay.
Each was about $11,000 all in with the warranty and everything like that, right? So what we really key in on, and this is what we coach people on, is running your numbers. The same way I would run my numbers for a rental property, you have to run your numbers. I'm not going to say that, hey, you need to stay, below 10,000. You need to stay below 15,000. You need to stay at a price point where that vehicle can turn around and pay for itself within like 10 or 11 days. That's really what you need to be able to reverse.
10 or 11 days.
10 or 11 days, you need to be able to pay your note, right? So
okay. Pay your note. Okay. Yep.
Exactly. So there's a couple different metrics that we look at, right? So overall for the economy vehicles, where we've seen with the inflated prices of everything happening, recently, is we like to rule of thumb is around that $15,000 mark or lower, right? Staying below there, that $15,000 mark or lower, to stay below there. Secondly, we like to keep the mileage low. I like to have mileage under 50,000 miles when first purchasing the vehicle. That way, I know that it's going to have at least a good life before some of those larger repairs that start to come up happen. Because I usually liquidate vehicles at the 100,000 mark as well. That's another metric that's super important for this. But you can stay below 15,000 as a rule of thumb, but you really need to run what we call a rental car analysis, right? You need to run a rental car analysis where you break down, okay, what is the price of the vehicle, right? What is the interest rate on the loan that I'm getting? How much money am I putting down, if anything, right? Factor in all your warranties, taxes, dealer fees, all that. Factor that into it, right? Then understand how long are you paying this loan for? What's the term of the loan, right? You'd factor all those things, and that's what's going to give you that monthly payment. Now, once you understand what the monthly payment is, now you need to go and do some research on the actual platform. Now you need to go and say, okay, what are if I'm buying a 2019 Nissan Sentra, let's say, right? I'm going to go on these platforms and I'm going to see how much is a 2019 Nissan Sentra making on the platform. What is it actually being rented out for on the platform, right? And then I'm going to, okay, let's say it's getting rented out for $40 a day, right? If it's getting rented out for $40 a day, now you need to put that into your analysis. How many days is it going to take for this vehicle to break even? Our threshold is really that 10 or 11 day mark. It needs to be able to break even, right? It needs to be able to break even at 10 or 11 days. So that way you still have 20 days in the month to make your profit.
Your profit, right? So for 10 days, like $400, your payments around there. And then now it's paid for it and everything else that's your profit.
Exactly. And another key thing with that I want people to know is when you're running your numbers, I left this out, but you also that 10 days needs to also pay for insurance, right? It also needs to factor in the insurance as well. When I say all in, This is why running your numbers is so important, to make sure that you're getting the right deal, because you need to be all in and be able to cover that payment within the first 10, max 11 days of the rental period. That's really our sweet spot when it comes to acquiring these vehicles and knowing that the vehicle is actually going to net us, what we want to make
Right.
per car. So that's
Right.
how we kind of run the numbers kind of step by step to see, does this car make sense? Do I need to get it cheaper, or do I need to just, walk away from the deal altogether? It's not even close.
That's, guys, because you're always in the math business. You have to run the numbers. The numbers tell a story, right?
Yeah.
And what do you want to make? What does it need to make? And that's and so George will kind of help you with that stuff. The other question that comes to mind is this is a big one for me. So so here are my questions, right? What is it? How so we know how to get started, kind of, right? Get a car, or let's say they have a car they're not in love with, that they're willing to put it out there, right? That's too personal for me. I would need to get another car. You can't drive my car.
Yeah.
And so I'm very territorial. I don't know. I was gonna say my wife. I got a new car. I don't even want, my wife's like, I'm taking your car. What?
Don't let me hear that.
Right,
Don't let
right,
me
right.
hear that.
Just kidding, honey. So the I lost my train of thought. I'm a very silly, guys. Y'all know me. What was the other question? Time wise.
Mhm.
Because you got to take pictures, you got to meet people. So it's two questions. I'm gonna say them before I get them out of my head.
Okay.
One, time wise, and then why should I go to you or another platform instead of Hertz, Rent a Car, Enterprise, that kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So now, where we were at when I first started, where we're at now is two completely different things.
They
when it
were
came to
closed then.
time.
Hertz was damn near out of business.
Yep. So that was another thing that really actually helped us with scaling. Was, you remember when Hertz, went bankrupt, and
And
had
they
to
sold all
liquidate.
their cars. So yeah.
We bought a lot of cars from Hertz. We bought a
Wow.
lot of cars from Hertz directly during that time.
Mhm.
But now, when it comes to like how many hours this is taking us, really, you could do this between 4 to 6 hours a week. It takes about
Really?
4 to 6 hours a week in total. Like I always tell folks now, I'm a glorified car wash person, right? That's really, I'm a business owner, everything like that. But when it comes down to it, my biggest position that I do now is I run a car through the car wash, right? Every couple of days when it comes back, I run it through the car wash. I let them get it ready, and then I go ahead and take my pictures. Now, a lot of the nuances with this business, we automated. A lot of the
Mhm.
nuances we automate, so we don't have to actually deal with them. For example, when it comes to meeting people, right? Checking people in, checking their IDs, things like that. We've automated that entire process. So we leverage things like lock boxes, right? The same way there's lock boxes on houses, they
Mhm.
actually make lock boxes for cars, right? It sits right on the window. You close the window, it's secure right on the window. So we leverage lock boxes so that
Wow.
we can actually do contactless check-ins. I've done check-ins on vehicles while I'm in a different country, right?
Wow.
Like literally, I'm able to
See,
keep this
now
thing
you're
on
speaking my
autopilot.
language. I didn't know you could do that kind of stuff. Now I'm
Yes.
really excited. Okay.
Yeah. So we leverage the lock boxes. That way, one, like, I've been in this business over 2 years. I've only met one renter, and that was the first renter I ever had, just because I was nervous, right?
Mhm.
Like I've only met one renter. We leverage the lock boxes to be able to, keep this thing as automated as possible. The other thing we do is leverage the messaging. So, again, we're in the hosting business for folks. So we're
Mhm.
essentially also in the hospitality business. So I have to
Mhm.
be able to help folks out. So what we've done is, instead of me, every time somebody rents my vehicle and I have to manually, this is what I used to do. I had
Mhm.
notes in my phone, right, of
Mhm.
templates. And every time somebody rented my car, it's like, okay, let me send them the check-in template now. Okay,
Okay.
then I'll set an
Mhm.
alarm halfway through the trip. Let me check in with them and just make sure their trip is going well, right? 1 hour before their trip is over, let me send them the checkout instructions, right?
Hmm.
And then
Mhm.
30 minutes after their trip is done, let me check in with them again and just make sure that they had a great trip, and let me ask them for a 5-star rating so that my car is boosted in the algorithm on the app. This
Mhm.
I used to do all of this manually, right? Now I just I leverage automations to be able to send those messages out on an automatic basis. Not only that, but they're also dynamic. So I'm calling these people out by their name, right? I'm
Mhm.
calling these people out for the particular vehicle, and
Mm-hmm.
that happens on an automatic basis. So one of the key things that separates us, what we're doing from all the other people on this platform, is we're automating it, right? We're running it like a business rather
Right.
than I'm just throwing my car up to, make a couple dollars. No, look, it gets very hectic. If you want to do all of that stuff manually, it's
Mm-hmm.
cool. If you got, one or two vehicles, you can probably handle it. But when you
Mm-hmm.
start scaling 4, 5, 6, 7 vehicles, it gets extremely hectic trying to do all that stuff manually. So what we've done is automated those specific nuances to help us get our time back to now. Like I said, the main thing that I'm doing is I am when the car comes back, I'm
Mm-hmm.
checking it out for damage, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
taking it to a car wash. A little hack for everybody. Get a car wash pass. Go to one of those places that have unlimited car washes for like $16 a month. Leverage that to keep your overhead stabilized, right? I love to stabilize my every month expenses. That's a very key way to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll take my cars to the car wash, then I take some pictures, then I drop them back off, then I drop the car back off at our lot, and it's ready for the next person. When that next runner comes, I upload those pictures, and again, I never have to go meet that person. It's all from this thing right here, this iPhone.
Right.
It's all from this iPhone.
Dude, just talking my language. So tell me about let me see. How much does it take? I had a couple questions written down so I can make sure I can so the time thing is huge because if you're doing stuff 4 to 6 hours a week and you can learn how to automate is huge. And let's talk about scaling it, right? Because you also teach them that's the thing, is like, okay, it's only so much money. Oh, my credit's jacked up, or how do I get 10 cars, faster because
Yep.
I want to leave my job. Talk, let's
Yep.
talk about and we're going and then here's a course on this, but I want you to kind of get your mouth watering at the opportunity that exists to, make is it unrealistic to say you could make a strong 5 or 6 figure business, 5 figure a month or 6 figure business? That's not in a couple of
Absolutely.
years.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I did it in less than two, right? I did it in a couple months because of the fact that I understood some very key points.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
first thing, the first thing here, right, is I also am a real estate investor. So for me to be able to scale this business, one of the key things for me was I needed to be able to protect my credit, right? I
Mm-hmm.
needed to be able to
Mm-hmm.
protect my credit and mainly my debt to income ratio. Y'all,
Mm-hmm.
if you are going out and you're buying all these cars in your personal name, guess what? Once you got 2, 3 cars, your debt to income ratio is jacked. Right
Right.
now, when you
Right.
go to apply for either more cars, you go to apply for a mortgage, whatever it may be, they're seeing all those car notes, right? They're putting it against your income and they're seeing all those car notes. So your debt to income ratio is messed up. You can't get approved for more. So before I started to scale my business, one of the other things that I had to master was business credit, right? That was another thing where in my real estate business, I didn't have no money. I knew I wanted to invest in real estate, so I needed startup capital. So I
Mm-hmm.
was studying business credit during this same time that I was growing and starting my car rental business. So now what we do is we leverage commercial financing for your vehicle. A lot of people don't understand that they can do this, but you can actually buy a car in your business name. And this is a major, major key when it comes to scaling your business.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I go to buy cars and I buy them in my business name, right? You can do this at the dealership. They have commercial financing. You just got to make sure you talk to the right person,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can also do this at specific banks. Like Bank of America is a great one that offers the commercial advantage auto loan. It's been huge for us for years now. Now, the key thing with this is that you will be able to get these auto loans, very similar terms, the same way you would with a personal auto loan. However, the very key thing is that when you apply for this loan as what's called a third party personal guarantor, right?
Mm-hmm.
A third party personal guarantor, not a cosigner, you're a third party personal guarantor. When you apply for these loans using that method specifically, the vehicle will not report to your personal credit report, right? So remember when I said that I was able to scale up to 9 vehicles super quick, I don't have not a nair car note on my personal credit. My credit report is completely clean. Me, George, I
Mm-hmm.
don't own anything. I don't own anything. My
Mm-hmm.
business owns My business owns everything. So I've separated myself. That's really the key to being able to scale. And the beautiful thing about being able to buy cars in your business name is there's two different methods, right? So if you're out there and you're like, okay, that's great, but they're still going to check my personal credit to approve my business. Well, there's also an EIN only method where you can actually build up your business credit, right? You can build your business credit so that your business can get approved by itself without you
Mm-hmm.
entirely,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there's two different ways to do this. One, leveraging a PG, a personal guarantee. That's
Mm-hmm.
when you at least have a 680 plus credit score, right? A clean credit report. All you're going to get at the dealership is one inquiry. You're going to get one inquiry just to make sure that you're good to go, and they're going to give your business the auto loan. Now, if you've gotten your business credit built up, right at that point, then you can give them your EIN. Then they can run the EIN and see that, oh, this business is credible. This business is reputable. This business already has a good credit history on it, so we can actually approve this business on the merit of it alone. Now that's a complete game changer when it comes to people who don't have good credit. Right? They're like,
Right.
I can't go the personal guarantee route. Okay, leverage this, build your business credit for 6 to 9 months,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then you can actually go to these dealerships and you can get approved without even leveraging a personal guarantee. Now, me, I am a very person. I'm a very much someone who preaches having good credit because I know the doors that it can open up. So I
Right.
always tell people, hey, look, fix your credit, pay to get your credit fixed because it's going to open up doors for you. And quite frankly, like I said, go in the EIN only method. It takes about 6 to 9 months to build your business credit. We have people now who come in to our program with a 680 credit score. They're getting three vehicles in their first 30 days, right?
Wow.
They're getting three vehicles in their first 30 days, just leveraging the information. Once you know how to do this, it's very, very easy. Not, I don't want to say easy. I want to say simple. It's very
Simple. Mm-hmm.
simple. It's very simple to be able to scale your business, especially when you don't have to worry about the vehicle reporting to your personal credit report, right? So that's how we're able to get from 0 cars to 9 cars in a couple of months because of the fact we're leveraging commercial financing. And look, each of these cars, they can net you anywhere between $400 to $700 a month. And I'm talking net after paying the note,
Paying the
paying
note.
insurance, all of that, right? They're netting you that. So imagine you get 5, 6, 7 of these vehicles, right? That's when you start to be able to make 4, 5 figures a month just from and net profit just from your car rental business. Extremely,
Wow.
extremely
So
powerful.
all right, let me play not devil's advocate, but sorry, let's say I'm listening to this and I work, I have income, my credit's a bit jacked, so I got a 590, I got a 625, I got a 635 credit score. The
Mhm.
first goal with me to get is to get to 680 or better.
Yeah. So yeah, you have to make a decision, right? Because here's the
Mhm.
thing: building business credit is not free, right?
Mhm.
Building business credit is not free. So I always tell people this: I'm like, look, if your credit, you got a couple things in there that you need to get removed, things like that, you got to invest in credit repair. Here's the thing: I would much rather you invest in credit repair
Mhm.
rather than invest in building your business credit. Right.
Mhm.
I would much rather you go that route because now not only are you going to be able to get approved for the vehicle, but it's going to open up avenues for, hey, if you want to, buy a property, if you want to do things like that, okay, now your credit is good. So in the
Right.
beginning, you got to make that decision. Which route are you going? Are you going to invest some money into building your business credit, leveraging those net 30s, net 60s, things like that? Or you want to just pay somebody to clean up your credit so that you can leverage a
Well,
personal
my favorite thing is who,
guarantee.
not how. So,
Exactly.
right, you know what I
Exactly.
mean? And here's the other thing I thought about. You mentioned it, and I wanted to touch on it real quick. Was the LLC versus not LLC? Like, do I need should I get an LLC? Will they loan money to my new LLC or that kind of thing?
Great question. So yeah, I think everyone, it's not like mandatory, right? But I don't want to get too into the weeds with taxes, but if you don't have a business and you start making some money, it's coming directly to you personally. Now you're gonna, put yourself into a tax situation. So I always say, even if you're leveraging your personal vehicle, at least have an LLC. So that way you can now have a entity where that money is coming into, and you can, have some expenses that offset some of that income. Talk to
Right,
your tax professional,
right.
but you can also now do some things where your personal vehicle is being loaned to that entity, things like that. Your
Yeah.
tax professional can get very creative when it comes to
Right.
being able to
Right.
make that
But the
happen.
point is, you got to have a business, right? But to
Absolutely.
take it, it's two tax codes, guys. One for that's why I want y'all to get a business, right? That is not optional, okay?
Yeah.
Unless you
Yeah.
just like you want your number one expense to be taxes, okay?
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
otherwise, you want to keep more of my job is to help you keep more of what you make. Here's
Mhm.
another question. Here's a caveat to that. So let's say you've got two businesses, two LLCs, you got a real estate LLC. Is it like, so I Practical Wealth Advisors is an entity. I
Yep.
got another one for my coaching business, Practical Wealth Education. So would it behoove me to set up a separate one just for this?
Absolutely. So I always take it back to like the ground root of what the LLC, what the entity is being used for, right? Is first
Hmm.
and foremost limited liability,
Liability. Hmm.
right? So I am not tying my car rental business up with my, with my real
Yes.
estate investments. I'm not doing anything because hey, if a lawsuit does happen, right? We're dealing with people driving cars, things like that. If a
Right.
lawsuit does happen, I want it to be limited to whatever is going on in that particular business, not all my other avenues, right? And these banks will lend to a brand new entity. So it doesn't necessarily matter, right? I've got students, no lie, who literally go out, they start an LLC on Monday, and
Hmm.
their LLC is getting approved to go buy some vehicles by Friday, right? But it's not going to be a barrier, and I think it's worth it. Spend that couple $100 to really be able to protect yourself, right? As your business scales, you're going to wish that you use that structure from the beginning, because here's the thing: once you start getting auto loans, you can't switch that later, right? You
Right.
can't you
Right.
can't you can't switch that over to it's tied to that entity. So
Right.
I think that you should very much so start that, no matter how small your business is, start with that separate LLC from day one, because it's going to serve you immensely as you're scaling the business and keeping your liabilities separate.
Hmm. Hmm. I love that. And give me so it's two things I want to kind of as we kind of wrap, a couple of success stories, and then tell them about the course, because I'm going to give y'all a link in the show notes to learn how to do this from his team, actually,
Yeah.
right? Him and his team.
Yeah, exactly. So, man, when it comes to success stories, there's so many. I post them online all the time, right? But one that really sticks out to me is our guy Roderick, and we were just speaking with him the other day, right? Roderick, um, older than myself, right? Still works his full time job as well.
Hmm.
Roderick, when he bought our course, I believe he bought our course in November of last year, and he posted in the community that we have. He posted in the community in February, and he said, "Y'all, like, I can't believe this, but this month I just did my numbers and I made $5,000, right?" And I'm like, "Wait, when did you start? Like, did
Hmm.
you just
Hmm.
did you just start?" And I'm like, and the reason why it sticks out to me, and these stories, come very much a lot now, but
Hmm.
it sticks out to me because I just think back to when I first started and the information that I didn't have, right? And I'm like, wow, now after years of experience, when you're able to give people the systems from day one, they're able to surpass what I was able to do, like, quickly, quickly,
Hmm.
right? In a
Hmm.
in a in a
Hmm.
couple months, we see people go out, they're getting 4, 5, 6 vehicles, and they're making that 4 figures a month in the first few months. Another
Wow.
one is this one was great because he's actually local to me. One of our students, David, I actually met him in the LA Fitness in my area. He came up to me like, "Yo, I know you." I was like, and he told me that literally the car rental business was his first shot at entrepreneurship at all. It was his first go around. He works his job. He was in the Navy. Right
Hmm.
now he's a engineer. Um, and he said, "This is the first business that I've actually ever tried to run." And I made money in my first month, right? I made a couple $100. He decided to start slow, quote
Hmm.
unquote slow. He had two vehicles, right? That's
Hmm.
that's that's slow for us nowadays. But he had two vehicles, and he said, "Look, I made $800 net profit in my first month, and that was all I needed to actually, like, get proof of concept," right? He said, "You don't understand how you just unlocked something in my mind that like
Mm-hmm.
I now understand what I can do outside of just my job,
Right.
right? And that's
Right.
really just what I love about being able to just to provide information to folks is there's so many people. I remember being at my job who just don't think about anything other than being at their 9 to 5, getting that paycheck every 2 weeks, and doing that for the next 30 years. And I'm like, hey, that's great. You have a job that you love, that's perfectly fine. However, if you want to, pour some fire, right? Pour some fire on that on that empire of yours, you can leverage other streams of income and you don't have to quit your job to do it, right? You
Right.
can
Right.
take
Right.
4 hours a week in the afternoons when you get home, run the car through the car wash, let the automations take care of everything else. Keep doing what you're doing, right? You can keep
Or have
doing
your kids help you if they're got driver's license and where it's a family business, right? So you need to,
exactly.
you know, they everybody's an example. You're the good one or a bad one. And so we need to be examples of entrepreneurship, of taking control of our life, blah, blah, blah. Right. And I think that that's a good, we were talking, you have 2 young children,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so guess what? He's built a business, so he has time to be with them, and be in their life and not work all the time. And
Yeah.
that's why you go into business. See, guys, you're in business to create freedom,
Exactly. Exactly.
and to be able to live life on your terms. At least I am.
Yep.
We call it in our system. Well, I told you this before, to get into a position of FU, right?
Yep.
Which is passive income, or I like to say asset-based income. So you're buying assets that generate income. You've got a business, because all wealth is a product of systems, right? And so you've got a business, but you've got systems. So other than running through the car wash, which you could even get somebody else to do that if you wanted to,
Yep.
you've got an asset. I always tell people, how do you know if you have a business? I say, go to McDonald's and say, hey, I'd like to speak to the owner and see, is the owner in today, and
Yeah.
you ain't never going to see him. And so if he's renting out cars and being in another country, that's an asset, right? That can be scaled. And that's exciting, guys. So you can go into you should have a game plan. You make at least extra $40,000-$50,000 from different stuff. So I'm not going to just but you could do it with this. But I'm saying is, you got to think in terms of growth. How can I grow? How am I growing my cash flow? What can I do different? And so, you know, if you look, so tell them where to follow you on Instagram, but you follow success stories, right? If one
Mhm.
can do it, another can do it. And
Absolutely.
that's you got to have the confidence, or you got to build the confidence, which goes back to working on mindset skill set network. Who are you watching, listen to, reading? What communities are you in? And that will, for me, I have a basketball player ego. So if, in my mind, if this knucklehead can do it, I could do it. Right.
Yep.
And that, that's how I think. Right. So if
Yep.
because can is not in my vocabulary. It's either I won't or I don't know how.
Mhm.
And we're going to fix the I don't know how part. So
Education.
education,
Education. That's
right?
all it is.
It's got to
That's
invest
all
in your
it
number one
is.
asset is you, right? Invest your education. So how should they I just created my link I'll put it in the show notes, but the how can they follow you if they want to see what you got going on,
Yeah.
through I heard you're big on Instagram, TikTok.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter. Everything is the same. Same at it's just the wealthy G, the letter G. So everyone, can definitely tap in. You'll see we're doing this on an everyday basis, right? We're doing this on an everyday basis. So definitely tap in, get some there's so much free game on my Instagram, my TikTok. You can scroll for hours to be able to, get some information there. And what I want to do for every one of your listeners as well. So we'll put the link under the show notes. But what I want to everybody, if you are interested in really getting this business started in 2023, y'all, when you go and click that link, leverage this code. All right. The code is going to be RTP. All right. Now I created this code specifically for my folks that are looking to get started in the next 30 days. RTP, it stands for run the play, right?
RTP.
Listen, use code RTP. The link is
Mm-hmm.
going to be going to be below. That's going to give y'all 50% off. All right. I want to give y'all 50% off. There's no excuses for you not to be able to add this income stream into your life, right? If you got a couple spare hours, invest in the education, get the systems, right? Myself, I'm not a car guy. I'm not a car guy at all, y'all. But listen, when something makes sense and you're presented with an opportunity, sometimes you just got to take it. Or as I would say, sometimes you just got to run the play. So leverage that code RTP, and that's going to give you guys 50% off as well, specifically just for Curtis's audience, right? Just for Curtis's
For the
audience, we got
Practical
to give
Wealth
y'all a
audience,
discount.
all right, we
Got to.
appreciate that. 50% off, we like that. So there's no reason. Listen, I'll probably be the first one to buy it because I need to know how to do it. My wife's been asking me about it. We've been talking about it. So when I met him, I was like, okay, I have been looking for a credible person to bring this, to you guys, because I've heard about it. Matter of fact, I first started hearing about it like when Clubhouse first came out, and they kept talking about it, but I didn't. It took me literally 3 weeks to piece it together what the hell they were talking about, and then I was
I
trying to
got you.
look up Turo, and I spelled the app wrong, and what are you talking about? And then somebody said, oh, it's like Airbnb for cars. Oh, okay. I could, and you said it was like hospitality. So once you get that, and listen, guys, the world's full of people, ideas, and money, and you gotta invest in education, and you got to have a burning desire to win, to improve your situation. Like if you don't have that, don't call him. Okay, don't call me either, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
but if you got a burning desire and you want to be somebody and you want to get just get what I call on the other side of money, you got to do something different in the new year to make it your best year ever. So we're getting you 50% off. Check out the show notes. Follow, you get a lot of free game on Instagram, but you really want to go into and not waste time. Get in and how to do it, how to set it up, how you do your business credit. You want to let somebody help you through that kind of stuff. And within, not getting any income guarantees, but, within 30, 60, 90 days, you want to be cash flowing.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
And his students are cash flowing in that period of time. So, anything I didn't ask you that I should ask you, or you can take us home.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll probably have to do a part 2. You guys let us know in the comments. If you want, if you'll have me back, I'm happy to come back and answer some more questions. But I think what you touched on is very important when it comes to, listen, guys, just taking action for 2023. So many of us now, we're in the last couple of days of 2022, and I want you to think about, what goals did you set for yourself at the beginning of 2022, and what did you do to accomplish those goals? And if what the answer that you come up with, it does not satisfy you, you need to start today to make 2023 different, right?
Yes.
That's what I'm on right now, is making 2023 different. So many people I've talked to in the beginning of the year, and they're still talking to me, hey, I'm thinking about getting started, I'm right on the ledge, right? Listen, understand that nobody is coming to save you, right? Nobody is coming to
Nobody.
save you. It's up to,
President
it's
is
up to you.
no, yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
It is up to you, right? If 2022 did not look how you wanted it to look, if you're still ending 2022 with just one stream of income, get the education, right? Learn from other people's experiences and other people's mistakes, so that you can skip the line and that you can create cash flow in 2023, right? I'm here to help you guys do that. Leverage me as a resource, message me, whatever it is. But listen, just take action. Just take action on the information that we talked about today, on the information that's online, on the information that's in the course, right? And I want you guys to just take action on that information, and let's make 2023 different. Let's make 2023 different.
All right, let's do that. RTP, run the play. All right. So we just gave you a play, and so you can be broke this time next year. Okay. Talk about how I got to get myself together, or what have you. So listen, we got to sign off. Go out there and make it a prosperous day and run the play. Thanks, everybody.